everybody. Okay, so it is, oh, there's so much stuff on the desk. I don't know if you can see. Day 18. All right, I cheated just a hair. So doing the paper dolls yesterday reminded me I also used to make wonky houses. So I made a card that says houses. It should say wonky, but it just says houses. And so day 18, I'll put that up. And I grabbed some that I've been using in, they're kind of curled up because they are decoration in my art studio. I just have them in one of those photo keepers, like just all standing kind of wonky, you know, in the photo keepers. Anyway, I do love making these. I made these out of cereal boxes, but you don't have to make them this sturdy. I made them for cereal boxes because I was making them to decorate the studio. But you can just make them out of stuff. So since how I decided I was going to make wonky houses, I did do a little bit of prep. I started making some collage sheets in a single color palette. All right. So I did that. I also, though, braided my old stash because you will see this says wonky houses. So before I actually had an art studio, I had, hang on, I literally had to go digging for these little clear container things, and I didn't have a room. I had a 1-bedroom apartment back in the day, and I just had to carry those from room to room. And so I put everything in here. So I have one that says wonky houses. And what I would do when I had scraps is I would cut them into house shapes, all right? So that's actually a color palette when I was trying to decide what color to paint my living room and hall. And I did not go with that color, but I did go with yellow. Same thing here. I did not go with that navy. I went with a gray in my bathroom. But anyway, but I saved them. So, in fact, I do believe that is the color that I went with in my bathroom. So they went in here. These little long pieces make excellent doors. All right. Windows. Are you seeing where we're going here? And then we need a roof. Oh, it's a wonky roof. A roof. So you can literally just keep your scraps and that quick make a wonky house. All right. So we're going to make some like that. But then you can also do these collage pages, and then cut them into shapes. And we're also going to do that today. So yeah, I'm not even going to set the timer. We're just going to play. And then punches. So when you use if you have these square punches, all right, for inchies, you end up with the waist. If you are making a big house, that's your windows. Cool, right? All right. So, like, yeah. This is all different punch trash. These also make great stencils. So like this would make a great stencil. To get you some circles, some feathers. So when I have my punch trash, I used to, before I had an entire room of stuff, I used to save them. So again, I raided my old stash that is still intact. I was shocked. I haven't raided anything out of it. So, so these are square punches. These are other punches like flags. I thought, well, those would be cute. You know, I can use those somehow. So I am probably going to not talk during this. And, oh, wouldn't that be cute? I'm probably not going to talk during this. I am probably going to just play and leave the camera running. And then I'll probably just do a voiceover on it. But it won't be a lot of detail because pretty much I've told you all you're going to do. You're just going to cut some house style shapes and then put them together. And I recommend that you kind of do this like we're doing the Happenstance journal. Make a bunch of roofs, make a bunch of windows, make a bunch of doors, and then just assemble. I've kind of got some of that already done. And then I've got some of that kind of to do. All right, let's get started. All right. Oh, I did pull cards though. I cheated and pulled the house card that I just wrote. Of course, collage is always going to be in there. Our colors are red and black. If you want to do this, go for it. Obviously, I'm going to use every color because I'm just going to try to make a bunch. Staple was my one of my techniques. I do have my stapler, and I probably will use it some, depending on how thick your material is, because you do want these to hold up. So like if you're using a collage sheet and you're just trying to back it onto something to make a house, a staple right there would have done the trick. You can see I use washi, but I could have used a staple. And then stenciling, and I may or may not even worry about doing those, but if you want prompts for today, there's your prompts. But I am just going to make some wonky houses however I make them. And you know what? I think I will start out by doing some stenciling on these. Let's do that one and that. I think I'm just going to do it in white. All right, let's get this party started. All right, so I'm just going to start doing the stenciling on here. I just did white, mainly just to fulfill the card. You don't have to do this. You don't have to make your own little sheets. I do like that, and in the end I did, if you watch to the end, I did use the red and the black and white sheet to make houses, so that I did actually make some that were truly within all the prompts. But it was at the end after playing for quite a while. I do love both these stencils, so you see them a lot. It does kind of tie all the collage into each other. I picked that up and realized there was no paint on it. It hadn't gone through because I had so little paint left. There it went. Alright, now I'm getting out my boxes and trying to set up how I'm going to work. Yeah, it was a lot of stuff in a very small area of my desk. It took me a little while to kind of get a system. And I thought, well, you know what? I'll go in and use the stapler instead of glue, since how that was my prompt. So I get my background, I get my little windows, I grab my stapler, one staple, yay! Second staple, no. It's out of staples, y'all. So I'm not going to use the stapler anymore, but hopefully you know you could just use the stapler if you like the look of the staples. And you could use the staples on the, like on the windows and doors to make the hinges, the cross panes in the windows, etc., etc. I'm coming up with a much better system for laying all this out. And once I do, I realize I can zoom in here a little bit closer and you can see what I'm actually working on. Because you don't need to see those boxes of scraps now, do you? This one ended up huge. I was playing with the colors, and I wanted to show you how to use that punch scrap, and I didn't realize how big I was making this until the very end when I do my flip through and show them to you. And then I'm like, oh, that's not even going to fit in my book, but I'll use it at some point. And I decided that I kind of thought those flag punches, they kind of look like wonky chimneys. So I do use them quite a bit that way. And then just to attach, I just used a piece of scrap that I glued to both because there's not a lot of overlap on those two pieces. That's the easiest way to get them to stay together. A staple would work, but again, it's going to be visible. Washi would work, but you still have to add the glue, so why waste washi? Just raid your trash.
And then I do these as I do each one just so you can see me finishing each one in its entirety. But just take a black pen, a white pen. I do use a black pen and a white paint pen on these so that it's all permanent. If you use a gel pen, remember that it's not necessarily permanent, and you need to remember that's what you used when you made it. So anyway, I'm just going to keep playing, and I hope you play along. Hey, I thought I'd pop in again just to tell you, when I grabbed this white sheet, I loved the shape of it, but of course there's no interest. So if you have that situation, you can do exactly what I'm doing here. I just draw in your roof line. I drew it in with scallops. Oh no, later when you're going to see me actually do stripes, you can do hash marks. Any kind of doodle you want to do, you can fill in on that. So that if you have one you like the shape, but maybe there's not a lot of interest, just when you do your pen work, add some. It actually makes it cuter and more yours.
Okay, so I just thought I would just kind of pop back in here for just a second and show you that I've actually, as soon as I glue these down, made two within my 15-minute mark. Um, so if you are actually following along for the focal image ephemera thing, um, these two would have been within the 15 minutes. And I'm just going to use another scrap to attach them. Just like I did on the last one. So if you're like, I thought she was going to do everything in 15 minutes. Well, I am, but I'm not necessarily only going to play for 15 minutes. And I thought, I want to give y'all some substantive stuff too. So, had I been trying to do the 15 minutes, to make two, there you go. 15 minutes and I made two. All right. I'm going to keep playing, but I did want to just point out that, oh, that one's gigantic. I'm not sure he's actually going to fit in my book. Now that I think about it, yeah, I made him, but will he fit? I think he's taller than my book is. But anyway, if you wanted to make two, you can see how quick and easy they go together, especially if you use your scraps. All right, I'm going to keep playing. You can watch, you can join in, you can drop out.
Alright, so back to just playing. These are those paint chips, paint samples, cards, whatever you want to call them. And I just cut one diagonally to make two roofs. So again, just look at your scraps, your trash, your whatever, and come up with a shape that makes you think roof, makes you think window, makes you think door, makes you think house, and have fun. That's the biggest thing on this. Just play, have fun. The only thing I pay close attention to is my colors, so that you can actually see everything. Like I wouldn't have put, you know, blue on blue unless the blues were drastically different. Yellow on yellow unless the yellows were drastically different. Because you do want each element to stand out a little bit. right, so grabbing this one, I did it intentionally just to show you your scrap can literally be anything. It can be something that maybe you don't immediately think of house, but make it look like a house. So, like, I grabbed this punch that was heart shaped, and it did take me just a hair of time to figure out my doors and windows. But I end up thinking it's super cute in its unexpectedness. So, when you look at your scraps, you can see they're going door, over, under. Well, you got to get in, so it's got to be over. So, anyway, when you're looking at your scraps, don't disregard something because you think, oh, that's not house, quote unquote, enough. There was nothing house about that heart. But man, did it end up cute in the end. So when you're playing, don't reject anything out of hand. Give it a try. That is super cute. When I got to this point, I did think it looked a little dark, so I grabbed my white paint pen to add some doodling on here. I may have gotten a little carried away because there was a lot of interest already on that roof, but man, do I love the white doodles. Uh, I, but I did realize that once I had the white on the top, I needed to balance it a little bit on the bottom. I think those dots did it. So when you're working and something's not coming together the way you think it should, your doodles are a great way to fix that. And I love this. I think this is probably my favorite one I made.
Okay, me again. I'm popping in because here I'm going to use those red and black, our color cards, sheets that I made ahead of time. And I'm just going to cut them so that I've got 2 houses and 2 roofs out of each sheet. So I'm just cutting them kind of in half and then to some semblance of a square, not really square. And then when I get done doing that for each sheet, well, then I'll trim up those long skinny pieces to be kind of roof shape and swap them. So that I'm taking the 2 red roofs, putting them on the 2 black houses, the 2 black, what did I just say? Red roofs on the black houses, black roofs on the red houses. I'll get it right, y'all. It's actually harder than you'd think to do this voiceover because I know what's coming, but I'm not always 100% sure of exactly when it's coming. All right, so there you go. Cutting them into some semblance of a roof shape. And again, just staying wonky. I'm not measuring. I'm not trying to make it perfect. I'm not trying to make the same angles, the same sizes, anything. And it's just matching them up. I am going to save those little bits in my wonky house box. I might use them for something. They're cute. And as long as I've got that box out, let's get some windows and doors. I did decide to go with inchies for the windows again. I do like the size of those a lot of times. And because I do have a ton of them pre-punched, I have pretty much any color combination you might need in that box. And again, that's just something I do with my scraps. If you're sitting and watching TV and you just want something to do with your hands and you've got a 1-inch square punch, because that's all that is, just grab a stack of your scraps, 2 empty containers, put your punches in one, your scraps in the other, and punch. It's a great way to just build up your stock for wonky houses, inchy designs, anything else. Oh, maybe we should do that as one of the things. Inchies. I do love making inchies. I'll definitely make a card that says inchies. All right, so I'm just picking colors, laying it all out. Once it gets laid out, just like with all the others, I'll glue them down and then add doodles. So let's get to it. Okay, so we've been going for an hour in real time. I'm going to speed this up so it won't be an hour for you. In fact, I may do some of it at 4 times the speed, but I just thought I'd stop and show them all to you. So, I love doing this. I really do. Because they're super cute. And you see, I made this one out of something just totally unexpected. I literally grabbed that just to show you that your scraps can look like anything. That's why they're wonky houses. Things don't have to be straight. They don't have to be right. They don't have to be proportional. They don't have to have the same roof line on each side. The only thing I really pay attention to is color and pattern so that they do show up on each other. And then sometimes I have a little bit of fun with my pen work, like on this one. There are places that looked really dark and places that looked really light. And I just, when I did my pen work, I just wanted to add a little more interest. So, yeah. So there you go. Technically day 18, but also just making wonky houses. Bye, y'all.